Well, hello and welcome to the Kitchen of the Dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost Elvers for October 12th, the day of the grand gesture. And here at the top of the page is a visual representation of the day of the grand gesture. We have us an image of, what is it? Oh, it's two streamer flags attached to the top and the bottom of a door hinge. I know you probably can't see it, but that's my best read as to what it is. A door hinge of all things. Now, is that an adequate representational image of your birthday? Who's to say? But, that's not necessarily altogether important. What is important is it's October 12th and it's someone's birthday today. That's right. Wishing you a happy birthday is what's important. And if this finds you late, I don't know, a couple days, weeks, months, hey, I hope you had a happy birthday. But for everyone else joining us randomly, or more ideally, to celebrate the October 12th birthday, I just want to say hello, welcome, and hope you enjoy yourself. Now, before we dive in with the redirect, let's roll some dice. That's right, this is the DykASSt a birthday broadcast, so we gotta live up to the namesake. That's right, but we do it more importantly for synchronicity's sake. That's right. We rolled us a 5 and a 2 for a 7. Now, what is synchronicity, you might be wondering? Well, it's just you getting out into the world, letting the universe show you it's with you on your path. And you do that by looking for these numbers, and when you see them, chasing them down. That's right. Now, you don't necessarily need to go with the numbers I rolled you. I mean, the intention's there, but it's probably preferable you take your own set of dice. You can go with my numbers if you like. That's cool. But you take some dice with you. You ascribe directional values to number sets and also time limits for how long you follow those directions. And when you get to the end of that time limit and that direction you were going, compose yourself. Take a break and look around for your numbers and any given signs that you might think are crying out to you, that the universe is putting down in front of you. And it can be anomalous things or things that just really stand out, like somebody walking through the park with a hockey jersey and the number 7 on it. Maybe everybody else is dressed in, I don't know, shorts and tank tops. It's a guy in a hockey jersey stands out quite a bit, especially since it's got your numbers on it. So maybe decide to follow that person for a spell. Maybe roll some numbers, find out how long. And the time it takes you to roll the numbers, figure it out. Just enough time to hang back, get some distance, so it doesn't look like you're stalking the person. Any event, maybe you end up following them, and at the end of that time limit, you find yourself in front of a building, say on 5th Street. Maybe there's a 2 in the address there. What's the building? Well, maybe it's a flag shop, and they got some streamers hanging on the door hinges there. Probably not going to happen, but it's that kind of thing that the universe might just line up for you in a synchronicity kind of way. That's right. So that's synchronicity, best I know it, best I can break it down on the fly anyhow. So let's dive in with your birthday read. Your month is October, your day the 12th. Your sign is 17 to 20 degrees Libra. Your period is Libra III specifically. And your quality and element is Cardinal air. All right, October 12th, the day of the grand gesture. October 12 people are dominant individuals who like to be the center of attention. Their people skills are highly developed and they mix well in a variety of settings, common or elite. And since those born in this day are proud of the quality of their work, they wish to be appreciated by the best minds around them, regardless of the social situation. The instincts of October 12 people for finance are excellent and an endearing quality in their tendency to share money with family and friends who encounter difficulty. And those born on this day hate meanness and pettiness, preferring to give their time or financial resources in a direct manner, making a truly grand gesture which is somehow free of condescension. Thus, October 12 people make it easy for others to accept what they choose to give. And although they themselves may find it difficult to similarly accept from others, learning as early as possible in life to both give and take in an easy manner is important to them. And although those born in this day value tradition strongly, no one would call them conservative in thought, word, or deed. Extroverts, they are blessed with a comic wit and have a flamboyant streak, which they do not hesitate to indulge. And this impulse can be expressed in any area of their lives, from sexual escapades to social nonconformity. For them, the world is a stage on which their own personal drama is to be enacted. And they manage to do this, however, in a very natural fashion, and rarely give the impression that they are creating shenanigans merely to attract attention. On the other hand, October 12 people must beware of hubris, bringing about their own downfall through a direct disregard for the consequences of their actions on the lives of others. And although in general they are knowledgeable in the regard to the law and social traditions, they may like to believe that they can place themselves above the rules from time to time, particularly in their private lives. And those born on this day can truly be a curious admixture of giving and selfish qualities. And indeed, their tendency to advance or promote their own wants and needs can arouse resentment in their partners. In matters of love, they are a bit dangerous. And when things go wrong in their relationships, October 12 people demonstrate resilience and usually manage to escape lasting hurt, although the same may not necessarily be true for the other person involved. And because of their high degree of competence and social expertise, those born on this day can become a rock of strength for their colleagues, friends, and family. Yet discharging responsibilities while being mindful of and responsive to their deeper needs, or the deeper needs rather, of others remains their greatest challenge. All right, that was quite the interesting birthday breakdown. So let's see what I had to say about it. I'd like to provide a little bit of a commentary, go over things, make some notes and such. All right, so let's get into it here. The day of the grand gesture. Dominant individuals who like to be the center of attention. That's right. And possess a highly developed set of people skills that allows them to mix well with others, regardless the social circles. All right. And I wonder if that's a Libra III quality that went otherwise unmentioned in the Libra III breakdown, because yesterday's breakdown was quite similar to some extent. They had that particular trait too. This element of giving time and financial resources was not, however. All right. And it's interesting, you have the capacity to give, but conversely, you find it difficult to accept as much yourself. Placing value in tradition, the reading claims you're hardly conservative in nature. And it claims you're an extrovert blessed with a comic wit and flamboyance and an impulse to indulge, which can find expression in sexual escapades and social nonconformity. And one would assume, considering your gratuitous nature, well, you're probably generous in those particular regards. In any event, though that may not be what they meant with regard to grand gesture. But that said, the world is your stage to enact your own show, but you apparently do so in a presentable fashion. So it sounds to me as if you're fun-loving, yet somewhat modest. And that said, they warn of hubris bringing about your downfall. So stick to what works and don't overreach. That's what I would say, all right? You aren't above the law or the social law, even though you might think as much. The reading also claims you can have a bit of a selfish streak despite your giving nature, and leaning into your own concerns can breed resentment. So despite a giving nature and a strong social aptitude, there may be a bit of a disconnect with being generous with things of lasting value, all right? But it's a common challenge for many of us, I'd argue. So take that for what it's worth. Just try your best, all right? And that's what I'd say about your birthday breakdown. So let's move on to your numbers and your planets. All right, your numbers and your planets. Those born on the 12th of the month are ruled by the number 3, as 2 + 1 = 3, and by the expansive planet Jupiter. And those ruled by the number 3 are often ambitious and sometimes dictatorial. October 12 people in particular must therefore try to avoid being too bossy or aggressive. And those ruled by the number 3 also like to be independent, so some October 12 people may feel the need to abandon the security of a steady job in order to freelance. All right. And the Jupiterian qualities of the number 3 grant October 12 people a highly positive and optimistic attitude. And in combination with Venus, which is Libra's ruler, a touch of idealism. All right. Hey, what do I have to say about your numbers and your planets? Let's get into the notes again here. The number 3 in the expansive planet Jupiter, for that could have been a secondary star, but became the biggest planet in the system instead kind of energy. All right. So an ambitious yet sometimes dictatorial attitude often colors an individual ruled by the number 3. And interestingly, your independence may motivate you to take up freelance work over a steady job. So you're a risk taker too, I would argue, at least to some extent, because you never know what's going to happen with that freelance work. But Jupiter lends optimistic qualities, and Venus a touch of idealism, as they said, which sounds to me like the earmarks of a romantic. All right, just mind that dictatorial attitude. I reckon you exude enough of that naturally without having to do anything. So putting weight behind it probably takes away the little bit of intrinsic charm that comes with it, all right, or that it otherwise lends. So you don't want to throw that away, okay? But I'm assuming, I don't know, I think some people like a touch of that dictatorial confidence, if you like, but you come into it too hard, you're going to chase the fish away, so to speak. So that's been your numbers and planets. Let's dive in with your tarot. That's right. One of the more eclectic of the New Age metaphysical ideologies, philosophies, practices. But it's here in the book. We don't have to take it home with us and start dealing out cards for every decision in our lives. Let's just see what it has to say. All right. The 12th card of the major arcana is the Hanged Man, who dangles by his foot in a head-down position. Though such a position seems helpless, the Hanged Man is nevertheless spiritually powerful and deeply thoughtful. The positive attributes of this card are recognizing limitations and overcoming them, as well as simply being human. Negative aspects are a spiritual myopia and restrictedness. All right. And they didn't really personalize the tarot, but they did personalize the numbers and planets. So a little bit of a trade-off usually with that one, I've noticed. But in any event, what I have to say about your tarot there. The Hanged Man for the spiritually powerful and the deeply thoughtful. Quite the trait for someone in an otherwise a precarious position. The Hanged Man, I mean. Positive attributes, recognizing limitations and overcoming them, and being human. Cons are the negatives, if you like, spiritual myopia and restrictedness. So I'd say use your situation to gain insight and personal freedom, all right? And you can lean into the restrictions, but that's all that's what will define you if you do that. Don't want to define your situation, all right? You want to find the freedom within it, however you do that. So don't forget, you see the world as your stage too, right? So there's probably also help out there if you're open to it. It says you don't like to do that, but if you find yourself in a restricted situation you can't get out of, nor that you can, reconcile with opening your mind to what that might grant you, maybe you can ask for some help. Don't be afraid, all right? All of us need it from time to time. All right, there's your tarot. Let's dive in with your health. All right, your health. Those born on October 12 must beware of taking their good health for granted. Regular checkups are a must, and thus allowing a trusted family physician to monitor their health. And October 12 people usually like the good things in life, so their diets may be a bit weighted towards rich and tasty foods that are not the most healthy choices. Moderate exercise on a daily basis, if possible, strongly recommended. From milder forms such as walking to more energetic activities like swimming or tennis. On October 12th, people of both sexes must beware of problems with the back, kidneys, and the lower digestive system. And for women, the ovaries and the bladder. I don't know how they drill down on those specific ailments that will trouble someone on a specific day, as if it's deemed by the stars somehow, but here nor there. That's what's in the book. Let's dive in to the notes. All right. Don't take your health for granted, all right? And keep it monitored, they say. You like the good things in life. Rich and tasty foods, they say. But careful those rich foods, I say, all right? They'll go right through you like grass through a goose, okay? Nice and slick like, if you like. So get your moderate exercise if possible. And like a lot of folks, and like a lot of other Libra folks, sensitive kidneys and back. So be mindful. I don't know why they're so ardent about drilling down with the back and kidneys, but they, with every other zodiac sign, they never really did that. It was onesie-twosie stuff, like this thing for that person, this thing for that person. But for Libras, the kidneys. And what else do I have to say here? And bladder and ovaries for the ladies. That's a first in the book. And I don't know how you take care of your ovaries. The bladder, UTIs and all that stuff, there's plenty of things for that out there. But the ovaries is a new one. So if you know something about taking care of ovaries, hey, think of yourself as doing a grand gesture and letting people know down in the comments how you do that, because I'm sure that's information other ladies would like to know. But that's what I had to say about your health. All right, let's move on to some advice. All right, some advice, as if we haven't gotten a bunch of that already. Remember to take the feelings of others into account and be mindful of the needs of those close to you. Unconditional love is a worthy goal to which to aspire. All right. Really sparse with the advice today. All right. Mindful of the feelings and the needs of others around you, not just the things that money can fix, I would argue. Unconditional love, a goal to aspire. See, I don't know about that one. I like the sentiment, but maybe I'm myopic in thinking that's more of something intrinsically baked into the ingredients versus a result of the right recipe, if you like. But who's to say? Maybe that's exactly what you need to hear, more importantly. And if that wasn't enough to meditate on, let's dive in with your meditation. All right, that's right. Your meditation. Let's take the energy down just a hair. Dive into it. What would be the most difficult single thing for you to live without? One more time. What would be the most difficult single thing for you to live without? All right, that's an interesting meditation. I'm not going to throw some spin on it or some read for you. It's your birthday, your meditation. I'm going to leave that for you. I don't want to put any influence on it for you. All right, so that's been your meditation. Let's dive in with your strengths and your weaknesses. That's right. Okay, if we hadn't drilled down enough on ourselves, let's get into it directly. Your strengths: you're socially astute, you're generous, and you're dependable. And your weaknesses, are you ready? Oh, here we go. Your weaknesses: you're egotistical, and you're an exhibitionist. Oh, okay, egotistical. I didn't really get much of that in the read, but hey, it might have been there in hints, just like the flags on the door hinges there. In any event, that's been your strengths and weaknesses. Now let's dive in with those born on this day. And when we get into those born on this day, I like to examine something that I find important, and that is figuring out our passions. Too often I meet people out in the world, ask them what they do, more importantly if they like it, and they don't. And you know what? Who can blame them? You get out of school, you got to get into a job, get that secure footing, put food on the table. When the weekend comes around, you got some time to yourself. Hey, you got bed sheets to change and lawns to mow and just diapers to clean if you like, or throw in the trash. And just things pile up. And so you don't have the time to put into work to figure out what just drives you. Gets you to do backflips out of bed in the morning to get started with your day. Instead, you you're hitting the snooze button, trying to prolong the day coming at you. But in any event, I figure this is the perfect opportunity to not only see who shares your company, but what put them on the map there, what got them famous, what put them in the book, and maybe we can derive some inspiration from that and figure out our own passions, if any you like. And not only that, you get to see who shares your company. And ostensibly, they're dealing with a lot of the same difficulties you are, assuming any and all of this applies. In any event, let's get into it here and get some inspiration if we can. Those born on this day: Luciano Pavarotti, the Italian tenor. We also have Dick Gregory, the comedian and the political activist and dietitian. We have Pearl Mesta, a Washington hostess with the mostest, it says. That's where it comes from, huh? A businesswoman and a U.S. ambassador. How about that? Aleister Crowley, British black magician, esoteric writer of Equinox of the Gods, and died of drug abuse. It also says insane, penniless, and alone. Oh, man, that's horrible. All right, let's pick the energy back up here. We got Richard Allen Meyer, who was a architect. Ralph Vaughan Williams, Welsh-British composer. Albert Paul Blaustein, a law professor, and wrote Civil Rights in the African American. We also have Sam Moore, soul singer of Sam and Dave. Carol Lee Schneeman, New York performance artist and filmmaker and writer of More Than Meat. Joy, M-E-A-T, meat. Arthur Nikisch was a Hungarian, or might still be, Hungarian-German conductor. Al Held, New York painter. Dorothy K. Haynes, a horror anthology writer of Thou Shalt Not Suffer a Witch. We also have Edward VI, the child British king and son of Henry VIII, and died at 15. We also have Pedro I, the British emperor, or Brazilian emperor, rather. Oh, that's where I got British from that. And forced to abdicate, it says. We also have Tony Kubek, baseball infielder, outfielder, and AL Rookie of the Year, also a TV commentator. We also have O. John Rogge, or Rogge perhaps, a civil rights activist and a lawyer. We also have Hans P. Krauss, a rare book dealer. And a collector. Interesting, a book dealer would get famous. Bill Stein-Krauss, an equestrian and president of the U.S. equestrian team. Susan Anton, a model and a film actress. Ramsay MacDonald, and Ramsay MacDonald, the Scottish statesman and the first British Labour Party Prime Minister. There were some interesting people in there, interesting jobs. I wouldn't have thought some of those would have made the cut. But hey, apparently they had some interesting passions. Maybe some influences for you. You never can tell, all right? And people don't just want to hear about models and actresses and politicians all the time. Am I right? Am I right? I think I am. Okay, hey, that's been Those Born on This Day, which essentially rounds out your birthday reading, except to say, your season is fall. Your sign, once again, is Libra, of the Libra III period specifically. And your quality and element is Cardinal air. And this has been October 12th, the day of the grand gesture, from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and you Stelfers. I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description if you're intent on diving in more and picking up a copy of your own. Makes a great coffee table book, and it's going to get the conversation started. If you need an icebreaker for any of those parties you might be holding, said you like all them different social circles and you do well within mixing within them, so hey, you're bound to have some parties set up, and this thing's going to get that ice broken and a conversation flowing if you like. But that's not what's important here. What's important here is it's someone's birthday. That's right. And I just want to once again say happy birthday. That's right. But for everyone else who joined us to celebrate October 12th birthdays, I want to say I hope you enjoyed yourselves and you come back for your birthday reading. But lest we forget, your daily numbers. That's right. Get out there and let the universe show you it's with you on your path, and see and feel some of that magic when you start seeing your numbers creep up. All right, so get out there and do it. And happy birthday. And take care of yourself and your ovaries and your kidneys and your back and your digestive organs. And like I said, let me do it in the comments if you know how to take care of them ovaries. Do someone else a grand gesture, because that's important information. All right. Take care of yourselves. And happy birthday again.